Hi friends, good morning. This is Dr. Harinath Reddy, Director Shankaranaya Study Circle. Today in this particular video, we will discuss the recommendations of the 15th Finance Commission with respect to grants to the local bodies. And we will also try to compare how the recommendations of the 15th Finance Commission differ with that of the earlier 14th Finance Commission. So this topic will be useful both for UPSC and also APPSC exam. Questions have come in the past on finance commissions very regularly. So let's get started. See, the practice of giving grants to the local bodies. The practice of the union government giving grants to the local bodies on the recommendations of the Central Finance Commission, it started with the 10th Finance Commission. So it started with the 10th Finance Commission. And from 10th Finance Commission, regularly the local governments are getting grants on the recommendations of the Central Finance Commission from the central government. And if you see the recommendations of the earlier Finance Commission, that is the 14th Finance Commission, you know that the rural and urban local self-governing institutions were given constitutional status in 1992. Rural and urban local self-governing institutions were conferred with constitutional recognition through the 73rd and 74th Amendments to the Indian Constitution. The rural local self-governing institutions, they are of three categories: Grama Panchayat, Mandal Parishad and Jilla Parishad. In states with less than 10 lakh population, instead of 3-tier Panchayat Raj, there could be 2-tier Panchayat Raj. And similarly, the urban local self-governing institutions, as per 74th Constitutional Amendment Act, they are again of three categories: Nagara Panchayat, Municipality and Municipal Corporation. So when you see the recommendations of the 14th Finance Commission, 14th Finance Commission has recommended grants only to the Grama Panchayats but not to Mandal Parishad and Jilla Parishad. That's one big difference. 15th Finance Commission in the interim report for the year 2020 and 21 has recommended grants for all the three categories of rural local self-governing institutions. But the earlier Finance Commission, that is the 14th Finance Commission, has recommended grants only for Grama Panchayat but not to Mandal Parishad and Jilla Parishad. Similarly, in the case of urban local bodies, the earlier Finance Commission and even the present 15th Finance Commission, they have recommended grants to all the categories of the urban local bodies: Nagara Panchayat, Municipality, Municipal Corporation. And remember, the earlier 14th Finance Commission has recommended the grants between the rural and urban local self-governing institutions in the ratio of 70:30. So out of every 100 rupees which is given as a grant to the local bodies, 70 rupees will go to the rural local self-governing institutions and 30 to the urban local self-governing institutions. This is 70 entirely goes to Grama Panchayat as per 14th Finance Commission recommendation. 30 it will be distributed among the three categories of urban local governments. And remember one more very important difference between the 14th and 15th Finance Commission recommendations is we have something called the 5th schedule and the 6th schedule areas. So the 14th Finance Commission did not recommend grants to 5th schedule and the 6th schedule areas in the rural areas. And similarly in the urban areas we have a category of urban local government called a cantonment board. So the earlier 14th Finance Commission has not recommended any grant to the 5th schedule areas and the 6th schedule areas as well as to the cantonment boards. 5th schedule areas, they are located in mainland India. 6th schedule areas, they are located in northeast India in 4 states: Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram. And in addition, the grants recommended by the grants which were earlier recommended by the 14th Finance Commission, they are of two categories: basic grant, performance grant. So basic grant is unconditional, without any condition the grant is given. Performance grant is conditional, that means on achieving a set standard performance, the performance grant will be given, otherwise it will be withheld. So for the rural urban local self-governing institutions, the basic grant and the performance grant were given in the ratio of 90:10. That is, the earlier 14th Finance Commission has given to rural local self-governing institutions, that is Grama Panchayat, 90% is given as basic grant, 10% as performance grant. But for the urban local bodies, the basic grant is 80% and the performance grant is 20%. So that's about the 14th Finance Commission recommendations, how they have differed from the 15th Finance Commission. Then let us discuss what are the deviations made by the present 15th Finance Commission in the interim report. Remember friends, this video relates to the recommendations of the 15th Finance Commission in the interim report for the year 2020 and 21. For the year 2020 and 21, recommendations made by the 15th Finance Commission in its interim report. So what are the departures? What are the deviations by this commission? See, earlier I told that the 14th Finance Commission has recommended grants only to Grama Panchayat but not to Mandala Parishad and Jilla Parishad. But the 15th Finance Commission has recommended grants to all the three tiers of Panchayat Raj system. Grama Panchayat, Mandala Parishad and Jilla Parishad. This is one very big difference. And in addition, as I told you, the 14th Finance Commission has not recommended any grant to the 5th schedule and the 6th schedule areas as well as cantonment boards. But 15th Finance Commission has recommended grants to the 5th schedule and the 6th schedule areas as well as cantonment boards. In addition, 15th Finance Commission has also recommended tied grants, conditional grants in the critical sectors of sanitation and drinking water to be given to the local bodies to ensure the flow of additional funds to the local bodies for the purposes of sanitation and drinking water under centrally sponsored schemes. So already the local governments are getting funds under Swachh Bharat and the Jal Jeevan missions to the local governments. In addition to what they are getting from these centrally sponsored schemes, Finance Commission has recommended additional grants to ensure additional flow of funds to the local bodies for critical sectors like sanitation and drinking water. This is one more deviation. Then the share of urban local bodies in the total grants recommended by the 14th Finance Commission is only 30%. But 15th Finance Commission has increased the share of urban local bodies in the total grants. In addition to this, 15th Finance Commission has also categorized the cities into two categories: million plus cities and the other towns and cities. Million plus cities, they are 50 in number and they need a special treatment because of the growing problems of urbanization in the million plus cities. So this was kept in mind by the 15th Finance Commission when recommendations are made. And let's get into the details of what are the actual recommendations made by the 15th Finance Commission. See, the total size of the grant recommended to the local bodies is 90,000 crores. Remember friends, we have now only 28 states. For the local bodies in all the 28 states, the total grant recommended by the 15th Finance Commission for the year 2020 and 21, for the year 2020 and 21, it is 90,000 crores. 90,000 crores. And for each state, this money has to be given. The central government has to give this money of 90,000 crores to each state on the basis of the population of the state and also the area. So when local body grants are given to the states, two criteria are kept in mind. Population is one criteria, area is a second criteria. Population will have a weightage of 90%, area will have a weightage of 10%. This is the second recommendation. And then if you see the ratio of the grants given to the rural and urban local governments, 67.5% to the rural, 32.5% for the urban. Earlier it was 70 to the rural, 30 to the urban as per the recommendations of the 14th Finance Commission. But now as per the recommendations of the 15th Finance Commission, 67.5 for the rural, 32.5 for the urban. And similarly, when you convert the absolute money in this ratio to the rural and urban local self-governing institutions, the rural local self-governing institutions will get a share of 60,750 crores. And remember, as I told you earlier in the video, all the three tiers in the panchayats, village, block and district, that is Grama Panchayat, Mandala Parishad, Jilla Parishad, all the three, they receive the grants. Earlier 14th Finance Commission recommended grants only to the Grama Panchayat. And in addition to this, For the Grama Panchayat, the share of Grama Panchayat in the total grants to the rural local self-governing institutions, it must be in the range of 70 to 85% for Grama Panchayat. Mandal Parishad 10 to 25%, Jilla Parishad 5 to 15%. And in states like Goa, Sikkim and Manipur, as they have a population of less than 10 lakhs, there the local self-governing institutions is having only two tiers. Intermediate Panchayat is missing, Village Panchayat and the Grama Panchayat. So here the allocation for village and Grama Panchayats will be as follows: 70 to 85% for the Grama Panchayat, 15 to 30% for the district Panchayat. And similarly, 15th Finance Commission also recommended grants to the 5th schedule and the 6th schedule areas. So the states which have 5th schedule areas and the states which have 6th schedule areas must be given grants to the 5th schedule and the 6th schedule areas respectively. But when such grants are given to the states, the population and the area of these 5th and 6th schedule areas will be kept in mind. And similarly, the grants for the 5th schedule and the 6th schedule areas will be given in two categories: basic grant, tied grant. Tied means conditional. The basic grants are untied. Which means there are no conditions attached. They can be used by the local bodies for location specific felt needs. The tied grants on the other hand can be used for the basic services of sanitation and maintenance of open defecation free status and supply of drinking water, rainwater harvesting and water recycling. Earlier, 14th Finance Commission recommended two kinds of grants: basic grant, performance grant. Here it is basic grant, which is untied, and tied grant. Then, as I told you, the 15th Finance Commission makes a differentiation between million plus cities and other categories of towns and cities. That's why the total grants recommended for urban local bodies, it is 29,250 crores. 29,250 crores. The total grants recommended for urban local bodies for 2020-21, 29,250 crores. And this money will be given to the towns and cities as two categories: million plus cities and other cities and towns. And for urban local bodies, out of this 29,000 crores, million plus cities which are 50 in number, they will be given 9,229 crores. 9,229 crores will be given to million plus cities. 20,000 crores will be given to the remaining towns and cities. Again, this is of two categories: basic grant, tied grant. Basic grant will be 50%, tied grant will be another 50%. And in addition, as I told you earlier, the state should also give grants to cantonments on the basis of population in the territories of the cantonment boards. And this money, grants to the rural and urban local bodies, shall be released in two equal installments, one in June 2020 and the other one in October 2020. For the disbursal, for giving grants to the million plus cities, the disbursement of respective grants shall be done on the recommendations of the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs and also Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. That's it about the recommendations of the 15th Finance Commission with respect to local body grants, and how the recommendations of the 15th Finance Commission differ with that of the 14th Finance Commission. Friends, the final report of the 15th Finance Commission is given to the Government of India, but it is yet to come into the public domain. Probably what is said in the interim report, much of it will be present even in the final report. So what you learn from this video will not go waste, and what we have discussed so far will be replicated in most cases in the final report. Thank you.